Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of EdgeMasterGaming, where today I'm going to be exploring different strategies to make it to the higher rounds on the 5 map. So if you, yes you out there, have never been able to get beyond round 100, the information in this video might be for you. Now as of today, the current highest round achieved for this quarter is 181. What I hope to accomplish is by using one or all of the methods that I'm going to share here to get first place on the leaderboard. You know, just so you guys can see the proof that what I'm sharing is legit. But before we get started, please don't hesitate to hit that like button should you find this video helpful, and definitely consider subscribing. Also, if you haven't joined the Korrupt Discord, please check the description box for that link, as well as my own Discord, Twitch, and Twitter. Alright guys, let's get started. Now rather than boring you guys with all the early gameplay, I'm just going to go ahead and cover my approach to testing these different methods. So of course, in order to test, I'll need a good loadout to ensure that I have the early, mid, and late game covered. Ultimately, I figured that any rifle would do, as they've gotten me out of some tight situations many times before. In the early stages of the game, the gun would be used for farming so that I could obtain all the other guns as well as perks and any upgrades that I would need for the late rounds. And in the middle to late game, I could transition the gun to a good backup, especially when it comes to insta-kill. So I settled on 3 guns. The first obviously is the FN FAL, which I've spoken highly of many times since its release. Other rifles to consider are the AUG, or another personal favorite of mine, the AK-47. Now the next gun that I'll be adding is the TAZ, another weapon that I give high marks to, especially when it comes to high rounding. The power of this gun is amazing. A little backstory is that this gun was more powerful than the M107 when it was first released. And on top of all that, you know what's amazing? Is that this gun is a wall weapon on this map. With it, you can easily get to round 100, which you'll see more of later on. And finally, the third weapon that I want to use is one that I've been very critical of in the past month or so, and that's the Venom Howl.
Fascinating.
I just really want it to be a good weapon on this map, so I'm going to do my best to find a use for it for sure. It's now time to go over the camping spots that I found on this map. First one that I'm going to cover is the basement or lab. I like the lab area because you can camp in quite a few spots down here. One of my favorites, of course, is Area 1 because you're not susceptible to any zombies appearing behind you. Now that is of course as long as you don't access the teleport anytime during the round. Outside of that, another way that this can happen is if you're not playing alone and your teammates are on separate floors. If they get knocked, leaving you to carry the team, congratulations, you just became the main course of a zombie dinner. Turn your computer off, have a nice day. Now I'm sure that there are other ways that this can happen, but they won't be covered in this video. Either way, getting back to why I like this area in particular, is that the portal here provides a great escape route should something go wrong. Another spot is in Area 3. This spot is just as good as Area 1, just as long as you keep the door to the adjacent room closed. And one final spot that I've considered is the Stamina Up room, simply because it's roomy and gives you space to train zombies. But in the higher rounds, I have gotten trapped in here. But the issue that I have with the lab floor overall, and I'm sure that most of you all will agree, is that there's no place to replenish your ammo. I mean, it's really annoying to go back to a different floor just to get ammo only to return back to the basement. So because of this, I'm going to go ahead and check out the first floor next to the spawn room. Alright, so camping on this floor can be done a couple of ways. The first way is to stand in the elevator so that you create a choke point for any of the zombies that come your way. Now, I found that if you stand closer to the right, the zombies that approach you from this side will get caught on the entrance like you see here. While this does work, overall this method will greatly deplete your ammo and will take a lot of time. Eventually, I moved to another method that I like, which kills the zombies a lot faster. And that's to stand with your back towards the trap and using it to kill all the zombies approaching behind you. Now while the trap is on, the zombies will continue to attack you from these areas. While this is happening, you just have to remember to keep enabling the trap. Of course this method goes fast because the trap kills the zombies instantly. Now the drawback for this, which I spoke about in my grinding strategy guide, is that using the trap doesn't get you any experience points. Eventually, I needed to make the TAZ the primary because the AUG's effectiveness began to wane. Overall, I was very content using this method, but when I got to the early 140 rounds, the TAZ started having the same issues.
Max ammo. Double points.
And although I did want to find a use for the Venom Howl, this isn't exactly what I had in mind. At this part, I decided that maybe I should train on both sides of this floor, utilizing both of the electric traps, which I'll demonstrate here. What you want to do is, you want to queue up enough zombies in this area, and then head over to the electric trap and activate it. After some time, you should be able to queue up enough zombies to follow you over to the next trap. Overall, it did work for a while, but when I attempt to come back through this room, zombies can pile up at this door, making it hard for me to get back to the other side. Eventually though, training in this area did catch up to me, as you'll see here. At this point, I really didn't know what I was going to do because I'm sure you can train the zombies on this part of the map, but obviously I don't know how to do it yet. Also, going back to the elevator method wouldn't be an option since my weapons are much weaker now. So I opted to find another area that would give me more space to train, and that was near a spot to replenish my ammo. Of course, the only spot left is the DEFCON panel room, which is the heart of this map. For me, this worked out great. What I found is that in order to survive in this room, you have to keep training. The pattern that I used was just to continue to move around the room counterclockwise, although I don't think that it really matters. And I finally found a good use for Venom Howl outside of slowing the zombies down, and that's to use it during insta-kill.
Insta-kill.
The gas kinda lingers in the area for a bit, which kills any zombies that enter on contact. Continuing this method, I eventually did wind up making it to round 182, beating the record for this quarter, and it just took me a little over 6 hours to do so. So that is my method for high rounding on this map, and even though it takes a while, it is guaranteed as long as you're comfortable with training all the time. If you guys have a better method for this map that you'd like to share, please place it down in the comments as I would greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Also, I just want to announce that it's time to venture out a bit with more zombie games on this channel. So be on the lookout for Black Ops 6 when it gets released in October, as well as other games out there that I have yet to introduce. Well, that's going to do it for me. And as always guys, remember to have fun, take care, and God bless.